Hey, this is Andrew Brown. In this video, I want to take a look at Kinesis. So Kinesis has changed, not a whole lot, but they've changed the UI, which is, of course, AWS is always doing that. And so there used to be data streams, Firehose, data analytics, and video analytics, or video streams. Video streams is now somewhere else. So if I type in here, it's over here. This is now just Apache Fink as they're downplaying the data analytics part, and for some reason they dropped the word Kinesis and Data Firehose, trying to give it its own portal. I don't know. Data Streams has a capacity mode. This was not something that was there before. So the idea is that before you used to just provision shards and you pay for your shards, but now I guess you can consume on demand, which makes you wonder, okay, well, what's the point of Data Firehose if I have on demand here? But data streams is a little bit more robust than what Firehose can do, but Firehose is usually really nice as it's very straightforward to use. And I think that's a good starting point. So let's go take a look at Firehose in the UI, and then we'll move over to our code base. I've already launched up a Git pod environment. You're going to have to use whatever you want to use, your local developer environment, code spaces, whatever, get your credentials loaded. I'm going to just make a check here and see if I have my credentials loaded here. Get caller identity. And I always spell identity wrong. I always spell like an N in here for no reason. There we go. And some that is set up there. And so I'm going to just make a new folder here, Kinesis. And yes, I know that some of these services have like Data Firehose as its own category, but it's Kinesis because it's always been Kinesis. So that's where I'm putting it. Sorry, AWS. Nice try moving things around on me. But anyway, so we'll set that folder up for now, but let's just take a look here. So the idea is that we can ingest things from another Kinesis data stream. We could ingest things from MSK, which is for Kafka, because that's a managed version of Kafka that AWS has. And we can use the direct put. So from what I remember, that's just us using the API to do a put. And so historically, every time I've used it, it's had a DynamoDB database, and you use DynamoDB streams to which would trigger a Lambda, and that Lambda would write to our Firehose stream. So that would be a way that we could use it. So let's say you had a website and you just had a lot of traffic and you wanted to buffer it and place it in a DynamoDB and then eventually store it into S3. Then you could stream it to Firehose, and that's something, again, that I have done. We have a bunch of destinations. A very common one is going to be S3. Another really good one would be to Splunk. Splunk would be a really good one to place it to, or Redshift, depending on what your use case is. I've never heard of CoreLogix, so that's new to me, but I'm going to click into here, and you'll notice that we have Amazon S3, and then we have to name our stream. We have some options here, so transfer and convert records. So there's some kind of operations that we can perform. So we could apply a transformation, which would apply a Lambda function to it. So that is kind of interesting there. You can convert the format. So you could take that raw format and change it to something else, because when you're delivering something to S3, you might want it in Parquet or ORC, which are more efficient to query and take up less space because they're like per line information. This is new. I've never seen this. Decompress source records from Amazon CloudWatch logs. So never done that before, but that's new. And we would have to select our S3 bucket. We'd have to determine what the delimitator is, so whether it is enabled or not. So new line would be probably good. We could set up dynamic partitioning. I never fiddle with this, but that's something that you might need to do based on how you need to structure your data, whether you need a prefix, et cetera, et cetera. So pretty straightforward. Other things might be like compression for the data. That's something that's kind of important. So, we might say here, it can compress it. So change it to gzip or snappy. That might be something we might want to do. Go down to advanced settings. You might want to encrypt server-side encryption. A lot of stuff, and you might need to create service access. But let's go ahead and try to do this in CloudFormation. I think that would be a really good example here. I'm going to go ahead and type in template.yaml. And so I'm going to want to go ahead and create a new data firehose. So just type this CloudFormation. And you'll notice there's a delivery stream, because that is what the service was originally called. So even though they've renamed it, it's still called, that's what it used to be called. It was called Firehose Delivery Stream, and now they've changed the terminology for no particular reason. We'll go down below here and get an example. There's a lot going on here, but I'm going to go ahead and copy this. And we'll go back over to our CloudFormation template. We'll say allow. There's some stuff that we need for our template. So we'll just say CFN template syntax, because there's always like a version that we need here at the top. I'll go back here. Maybe it's this one here, basics. Nope. Templates, template formats. There we go. And so we'll copy these 2 lines here, and we'll go to the top, and we'll paste this in. And so just say a simple data fire hose. And so probably what we'll want is we'll want a lambda, and it'd be nice if we could trigger that lambda to then write to the stream. But let's first focus on getting the stream set up. I'm going to really just simplify this, call this data fire hose. We'll just say fire hose here. And this has to be under resources, otherwise that's not going to work. And let's take a look at what we have here. So we have properties, Elasticsearch destination configuration. I don't want this to go to Elasticsearch. In fact, this example sucks because it's 100% Elasticsearch. So we'll just take this completely out. Also, watch your indentation here. Just make sure it's two spaces here. And I have no idea why Duet AI is installed because I'm not using Google Cloud right now, and it just keeps installing as if I want it, but I don't. Let's see if we can expand this. Maybe it has specific examples for what we want, because there's a lot of sources, as you can, or destinations, as I should say. But I'm looking for S3. So S3 destination configuration here. And if we go on down, we should have example. If not, we can just kind of go through this and enter it in. So we know that we need this. So I'm going to go ahead here and place this in here as such. And we'll go to the next line here. And let's take a look. We have bucket ARN. So we're definitely going to have to tell where it's going to go. We'll probably want to have to create an S3 bucket. So we'll have to do that here. My bucket. Let's go ahead and just do that now. And while we're doing this, I'm just going to paste in the stuff so I can find it easier. If I hold control, I can click through to that link when I need it later on. So that's really nice. We'll say CFN S3. And here's S3 bucket. I'm going to go down to examples. It's really easy to make a bucket. Probably all I have to do is put the type in here. So just paste this in here. Deletion policy. I don't want to retain it. I really hate when it retains. I'm not sure what the default is here, so I'm going to go take a look here. We'll go back. What are my options? Options. Same link. What can I do? I don't want to retain it. So with the so I think if we just remove it, maybe because maybe there's no retain. There's probably not, that probably doesn't exist here. But we need a bucket. I want this bucket name to be auto-generated. So I think this is all we need to get our bucket. So let's go back over to S3 CFN. Okay. And we'll go down to return values. And here we're looking for the full ARN. So we'll have to use get attrib to get that. Okay. And we're going to want to get the ARN here, as that is what it wants. Just a second here. My phone's bugging me. All right. So yeah, we have that there. I'm going to go over here and just keep going through the list. So we have bucket ARN. We have buffer height hints. Configure how Kinesis Firehose buffers incoming data when delivering it to Amazon S3. We might want to encrypt it, so I'm just going to open this. Actually, that's just down here. I'm not sure if this really matters. Interval in seconds. I don't care about any of this. Buffering, I don't need to do anything fancy for buffering. I don't care about CloudWatch. Compression format is something I think that might be fun to do, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. Hopefully we just say what version we want. So we have gzip, zip, snappy. Gzip is fine. Encryption configuration, no. Error output prefix. A prefix the Kinesis Data Firehose evaluates to add failed records. I don't care about that. A prefix Data Firehose adds to the files that it delivers to the bucket. The prefix helps you identify files that are from Data Firehose. Kind of like that idea. So go ahead and do this. Say Firehose here. And I'm also just going to put a / because I'm hoping that will actually create a bucket, or sorry, like a folder in there. The ARN for IAM that grants Data Firehose access to the bucket. So we're definitely going to need that. Okay. And I'm going to use ChatGPT's help here because I really just want to get this done here today. And I just wanted to generate out the role. It's usually good at generating out roles, so we'll give it a moment there to load. But we need that role ARN, so we'll say generate a service role that will allow Kinesis Data Firehose to access an S3 bucket, provide it in CFN. Don't explain, just provide code. Okay, so we'll do that. Literally, I couldn't remember how to do cross accounts, which was crazy. Okay, just watching this here. Not everything should be done in LLMs, but some of these things like writing policies is fine, especially if you know what you're looking at. So that looks pretty good to me. I'm happy with that. I'm going to go ahead and just copy this. If you don't know what it is, you should really look everything up until you understand what you're looking at. So yeah, that's the ARN there. So let's just say ref. And I'm going to look up role here. So just say CFN role. We'll go ahead and just paste that in there. And we'll go back. And I'm just curious, like, how do we reference it? Return values. When the logical ID is referenced, it's the resource name. Okay, but I think we need the ARN. So it's going to be a similar process of grabbing that ARN here as it's asked for the ARN. Yeah, so it's going to be the same thing here. This get attrib is actually wrong up here because it should specify the resource. So this really should be S3 bucket, like that. And then this one here, this will just be Firehose role. Firehose role. Okay, so that seems fine. What's its problem here? Unresolved tag. It's not a tag, it's just the reference to the thing. Let me just double check get ARN or get ATT. Yeah, it is my role, whatever. Yeah, okay. I was just making sure that I wasn't doing that wrong. I think it's just confused because I'm definitely referencing that correctly. So I've done that so many times. But maybe that, yeah, the bucket is named right. Yeah, okay, just double checking. So we have our role set up. It's going to allow access to this specific bucket. We need to actually specify the resource name here. I mean, it's subbing, but it's not really subbing the value here. So I'm just trying to think here. We should be able to do this. What is it? I forget. See for an interpolation. It's just sub. Colon $sign from a value from a ref. Yeah, and so the bucket will return the name. So I'm hoping, I just feel like that doesn't work though. But I'm gonna hope that this just works. That'd be really nice if it does. But my experience is that it normally doesn't, so yeah, I'm hoping that would just output the bucket name, but I have a feeling this is wrong. We'll find out when we run this template. So that provides that. Let's go back to the delivery hose, and let's keep Firehose, and keep looking here. Prefixes set, role ARN. So we have all the stuff for the destination. Let's go actually back to the delivery stream here, or Data Firehose, as it's never going to be renamed. I'm going to just copy this top link here, and we're just going to place that here. Did we not get our S3 bucket? Yeah, let's just grab, just trying to get the top level here. Let's get this in here as well. So we have this Kinesis data stream. We have to kind of walk through this and see what all settings we need. So a lot of these are going to be specific to what they are. So we don't need this, obviously. We don't need that. I'm not sure if we need this. So I'm just going to open that a new tab here so I can see where I am. So this is the type of ARN, the CMK. No, we don't care about that. Delivery stream encryption. No, we just checked that. HTTP endpoint destination. That's cool. You can send it to just a random HTTP endpoint. Yeah, it looks like we don't have to do anything else. I thought we'd have to name it at least. What about naming our Yeah, there's properties there. Okay, so why doesn't it show up here? It shows, oh, it is right here. Okay, so we have the name, delivery stream name here. There's probably like some restrictions on how we name that, but it'll tell us when we don't like it. So I'll just say here, my Firehose. So data Firehose. And then we have delivery stream type. Yeah, it looks like we're fine for that format there. And what do we want for the type? We want either direct put or Kinesis stream as a source. We're going to do direct put because we're just going to take that from something. And so direct put again is going to be Firehose, AWS SDK, Ruby. I'm just going to look at the Ruby SDK. And, version 3 is the latest. So I believe there's just like a API endpoint from the last time I did it. Put record. So that's all it is. Put record or put batch. And that's how we're going to send stuff to the stream. So that should be sufficient. So we have our bucket. We have our Firehose. We could set up a Lambda. I think really to do this, all we have to do is use the API. So if we can keep it simple, I'd rather just trigger it using an SDK call here because setting up a Lambda is quite the headache. So I think this is fine. So hopefully this works. So I'll need to create a new script here. We'll just call this deploy. And I remember us doing a bunch of CloudFormation in S3. So I'm going to go ahead and just see if I can find something here. Probably under IC, CloudFormation. We have this deploy script here. I'm going to go ahead and copy this. Again, if you don't want to write all this stuff out by hand, you can just refresh this. Sometimes this happens with this timeout thing happens with Gitpod. The only way I know how to solve it here is by doing a reload. I think it's just I have some kind of extension it doesn't like. I'm never able to figure it out, so I just reload it like a dummy. I'll be back here in just a moment, okay? We are back, okay, so everything should be responsive again. The only unfortunate part is it like blasts away all the terminals usually. Nope, actually they came back. That's nice. All right, and I really want Duet to get out of here. I don't want Duet installed. Like, get out of here. Uninstall. Don't sync this extension. That's probably the problem. And that could be my problem too. I'm not sure. But anyway, let's go take a look here. We named the template YAML file. It should really be, just copy this one here. And we'll go over to Kinesis Firehose here and make our new file here. Deploy. And I'll paste this in. And we really should name this the proper way with the A in here. Let's take a look at our script here. So this will deploy our data Firehose with an S3 bucket via CloudFormation. The stack name, we'll call it data Firehose. Simple's fine. Takes the template. Do we want to execute the change set? That's if we want to review it. No, not today. I'm doing everything in CA Central, so that's where I'm going to stick with everything here today. That's why it's great to have old scripts. You can just copy and paste them and not think about them too hard. So that should set this up. So I'm going to go ahead and just cd into the Kinesis directory, into Firehose, and we'll chmod this and say deploy. Okay, and we'll go ahead and deploy this. We'll hit enter. Doesn't like the roll arm, totally fine. Let's go ahead and take a look here. So an error occurred when calling the create change set invalid template resource property roll arm because it's not indented. That's an easy fix. Circular dependency between resources Firehose. So something is self-referencing itself. It's right here because it's supposed to be Firehose role. Totally fine. We'll go ahead and enter. Insufficient capabilities. We need the IAM capability, which we are not listing here. I'm just going to go ahead and look it up. CFN deploy. And we'll grab this line here. I'm going to grab this reference. Again, if I ever need it, it's just nice to have it on hand. And we'll go down to examples. There should be one here to show us for IAM capabilities. It's not. We'll just type in IAM. So it's just this flag here. You can tell I do this a lot. Like literally I do. I've done this so much. So it's whether it needs IAM or named IAM. There's one and the other one is other one. If you have an IAM resource, you can specify either capacity. If you have an IAM resource with custom names, You must specify custom named IAM. I don't know. It sounds like it's this one here. It's not going to hurt it if it's not. I'd rather just do that every time. So we'll go ahead and try this again. Make sure we put the forward backslash there so that doesn't mess up our command. And we'll hit enter, and we'll go over to CloudFormation and see if this is working. It is CloudFormation describe change set. So so this is not executing the change set. It lets us review it beforehand, which is nice. So we'll go to change sets here. This is new. I still haven't looked at this. Git sync configure for Firehose. Yeah, one day I'll look at that. Maybe I'll shoot a video on this in this course because it's new and it seems interesting to me. But what we can do is click on our change set. So it's going to create the Firehose role, create the Firehose, and create the S3 bucket. We'll go execute that change set. Delete newly created resources during a rollback. Specify whether resources were created. Retains or deletes created resources according to their attribute policy. Yeah, that's fine. There is no retention policies on any of these things, so they should easily delete. If this fails, that's totally fine. CloudFormation doesn't always work the first time. It usually takes multiple tries. But if I'm lucky, I've done a good job here, and this will work the first time. But I'll see you back here when this is done. I have no idea how long this is going to take to create. Maybe 10 minutes, maybe 2. See you back in a bit. All right, so there we go. And let's go back here and take a look. And let's take a look here. So, oh, we can use this button. It's so silly. Like, click this button. It shows you where it is. I guess it can be hard to read, especially if you have a very large CloudFormation template, but I don't know. Never been hard for me. So, failed to create. Extraneous key. Delivery stream name is not permitted. Oh, come on. I knew it was going to be something with the name. We'll go ahead and delete this. It doesn't like the name for some reason. My data Firehose. So let's go take a look at the name restrictions. 1 to 64. Let me just look it up quickly because I don't trust the docs here, okay? I don't know, it doesn't really say, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and just shorten this. I'll just call this data Firehose. Can we do hyphens? Are we allowed hyphens? We are. Hyphens, and we'll just put like 1212. It doesn't matter. I'm just putting something short in here. Maybe you'll prefer that. It might be because it's a combination of this and the key value. No, I don't think so. Hey, we'll try it again. It's annoying, but whatever. And remember that we have to confirm the change set, which again is good practice. I always think that people should do that. We'll go ahead and do this, and we'll wait to see if this works out, okay? And we have another failure, and let me guess, it's the frickin' name. Property validation failed for resource with the message extraneous key delivery stream name is not permitted. And it makes it look like there's like a pound in there, which there isn't. So I'm not sure why that keeps happening. It's very frustrating for sure. Let me go take a look and see what it would suggest. So like this would have been the name that it would suggest. So let's go ahead and just take that and use that as the name. Okay, like if it doesn't like its own name, then it can't be my fault, right? And if it happens a third time, then I'll have to really investigate here. So we'll try this again. Oh, you know what? Could it be this? Because it might, you know, the thing is like it uses the stack name as part of the delivery stream name, and then it gets too long, right? So maybe that's our problem. So I'll just go here, like Firehose, like we'll just say df simple. We'll just do df. And that's probably what it is. Data Firehose. That probably makes a lot of sense there. So go here. I have a feeling we're not going to have that problem this time around. Okay, we'll see you back here in just a moment. All right, still the same problem. Oh my goodness. So, okay. What is it trying to name it? It doesn't even show us the name. It'd be so nice if it showed us that. Property validation failed. Firehose extraneous key is not permitted. Pound. Okay, there is no pound in the name. There is no pound in the name. So I'm going to put df. We'll put this in single quotations. All right. And if this doesn't work, I'm going to have to look it up because, like, what else could it be? You know what I mean? And that stack is deleted. We'll try this again, and I'll see you back here in a moment. Also, one thing I noticed is that we don't have to provide it. So what we could do is just remove the name, and maybe that would resolve our issue. But I need to see this fail first. So actually, you know what? I'm not even going to run this. I'm going to just delete that, and I'm going to just remove this completely. And I'm just going to let it generate out the name, and that way I'm going to have less of an issue. So I'll just say data Firehose here. Data. I don't know, again, if this is, like, if it's dependent on other ones. I'm just going to try to put something more random in here. Maybe take out the hyphen too, just so there's no issues. No, I'm pretty sure it can take a hyphen, so I'm going to put that in there. And we'll just refresh this here, and I'll deploy it again. And I think that maybe this time it could possibly work. I'm surprised this isn't an issue. We'll go back over here. We'll refresh this. We'll go to our change set, and we will execute this change set. All right, we'll give this a nice refresh here. Properties validation failed for resource Firehose with a message. Okay. Oh, delivery stream type is not permitted. Ah! Okay, that's what happens if you don't read the full message. Okay, so what do you mean it's not permitted? They told me what types there are. Did I write it wrong? Is that why? Provided applications access the delivery stream directly. Direct put. Is there, like, something wrong here? All right, let me go figure it out, okay? Oh, you know what it is? It says, and look, you have to really carefully read this stuff, because I thought this was for Firehose, but it's for the role this entire time. And so that's our real issue. So this isn't the problem. I mean, it's fine to leave that out. And if we go down here, the issue is the role name. So where is it? Firehose. I mean, that's what we're looking at. Oh, okay. Okay, so here's my problem, all right? These two things are supposed to be up here. That makes so much more sense. The other thing is, like, is there an issue with the name? Because that could be another problem. No, I think that's what it was. I just placed it in the wrong place because they're named similarly, and you had to painfully watch me do that for a while. But you know what? It'll happen to you one day, and you'll thank me for walking you through all that pain. All right, let's go ahead and deploy this for real now. And we'll give this a refresh here, and I'll go back here, and we will go accept those change sets. Hopefully that works. All right, so we got a different error today, or this time. So let's take a look here. Resource handler returned message, model validation failed. Extraneous key prefix is not permitted. So maybe, again, we've placed something in the wrong location. I mean, this is fine. I think the issue is that these aren't indented, so we'll go ahead and do that. And so I think that might be the last of our issues. Yeah, you gotta be really careful with that indentation so it doesn't mess up. I'm gonna go back over to here, and we'll wait for that to delete. Usually deletes pretty quick here. Good, we'll go back, deploy it again. And this is what a cloud engineer does all day, every day. We'll go ahead and execute that change set, and hopefully we'll pass this time, okay? All right, there we go. So now with our CloudFormation fixed up, this is deployed. So we're in really good shape. Let's go take a look here and see what our Firehose looks like via the UI. So you can see that it created it. We have a destination URL, which is great. We'll click into it. So we're not doing any data transformation, and we don't really need to do any, and that's just additional work to do that. Oh, we can just test it from here. So the test runs a script in the browser to put the demo data into your Amazon Data Firehose stream, which sends it to the S3. Sounds good to me. I thought we are going to have to write something. Well, let's go ahead and do that. I mean, we're still going to use the API, or sorry, I should say the SDK to do that, but let's go ahead and just do this and see if it works. So start sending demo data to your Firehose stream. If you already have data to this destination, the demo data is sent along with your source records. And so I guess it'll just keep sending various data after a while. One way we can know is we can refresh here. It might not show up instantaneous, so it might have to wait a little bit. I'm going to let that continue running on there for a bit. And while that is going, if you already have data streaming, it will just be sent along. That's fine. Stop sending the data once you've conducted the testing to stop incurring usual charges. So yeah, because it's whatever you want to consume, right? So you don't want to run this forever. Amazon CloudWatch error logging is not enabled. So if there's a problem, we're not going to see it. That might have been something that we might have wanted configured. But again, I don't think there is an issue. I think that's enough data for now, so we'll stop that. And let's go over to here, and I'm going to use Ruby because it's super easy to use, and I like Ruby. So I'm going to go ahead and make a new gem file. So let's say, is this timing out again? Bundle init. Okay, and we'll go over here. I'll just say gem, Ruby, or AWS SDK, Kinesis. I'm going to go over here and ask ChatGPT. So write me Ruby code for the AWS SDK version 3 that will put records to Kinesis. Give me, yeah, we'll do that. Insert 10 records, something like that. It's probably going to explain it. No, it's not. Great. So, you know, if we wanted to do that, it's really simple. It's just this code here, but there is a little bit of setup, so I'm hoping that it will do that for us. But yeah, it's as simple as this. It's really just pass the data along to your specified location and specify the delivery stream name. So here it requires it. That looks correct to me. Do this 10 times. That is fine. Put the records. Same thing. Put records. See, we have put record. Is that actually put records? Is that a thing? Put records. So I don't think there is a put records. There is no function called put records. No. No, there is not, because you can see right here it's not here. And we're on version 3, so I mean, it kind of got it right. So I'll use some of it because I don't want to have to do all this from scratch. But it's definitely wrong. Okay, so we'll go over here to we'll make a new file here. We'll just say record.rb. We'll paste this in here. We don't need to specify credentials because that will get loaded from our environment variables. I am just going to hard code the region. We actually don't even need that because that's specified as well. The only thing we'll need to specify is our stream name. So we'll go over to our stream, wherever that is. Resources. It would have been nice if we could just click through that. We'll go back over to here. Firehose streams. Can I get the full name here? It's not really making it easy for me to grab it, but I'll grab it from there. Also, let's give this a refresh, see if there's any data being ingested. Not seeing any as of yet. So that makes me think that there's something wrong with our stream. I mean, there could be, and then we'd have to configure CloudWatch logs. But I'm going to go ahead and just paste this in here. It is not put records, it's put record. And what we can do is we can just go ahead and do this in the loop. So if we have this 10 times, I can go ahead and just place this here. And then we can just place this here, like so. So again, pretty close. I'm not sure about records. It's probably just data. And we could use the batch. I just don't care. I just want to keep it simple here. So record data is what we need to do. So it's going to be record and then data. And then this is our data here. So I'm going to bring this down here. And And we'll do this. Oh, it's okay. So it's providing the partition key. So the idea is that like whatever we want to have here. So we'll just say, hello world. Hi, hello world. And that'll be our data. To JSON that, I suppose. Not sure if we really need to do that. I think it would still do the conversion for us. But I think that is sufficient for us to utilize that. But I'm really curious as to why we're not seeing anything here. Again, this might take some time for it to show up, but if we're not sure, we can always just go check S3 really quickly. That would make everything a lot easier here. So we'll go ahead and do that. And I'm going to go into here, and we're going to go to Firehose. And so it is streaming data. So I think that the reason why we're not seeing anything there is it just takes time. We can go ahead and download this if we want. And let me see if I can just open that up. That's not the data that we stream. That's just data in general that we were doing tests with. But give me a moment to open up that gzip file, okay? You know what I think I'll do is I'll actually bring it into our code base here, because this might be an easier way. Oh, I just did that and it opened. Nice. Okay, so I thought that there'd have to be something additional, but I guess I can read it. And so you can see we have that one record there. I thought there'd be multiples, but I guess it's just one record, which is fine. But let's go ahead and see if we can get this to work. So what I'll do here is I'll type in bundle install first, because we need to install this Ruby gem. Good. And now I'll do bundle exec Ruby record.rb. And so hopefully this just works. We have an error, not a big deal. It's because it wants that aux library installed. That always is a problem. Or it could be no kugiri is actually the proper one, no kugiri. So I'll go ahead and just do that, bundle install. It's an XML parser that's used for a lot of stuff, and so they always want you to have that in there. It's the AWS SDK that is using it. So we go here, and it says missing parameter data, missing partition key. So we'll go back to the documentation here. And it doesn't say that we have to specify it. It just says data here. Put record. Let's go back and look at our code again. So here we have the client, and we're calling put record on it. And this is a data stream. Unless this is like a newer version or something. Kinesis, it is Kinesis client. I don't think that's right, because this is for the delivery, and that's probably why I was showing partition and stuff, because if we go here, not here, sorry. If we go back over to here, oh no, that is Firehose. Okay, I wasn't sure. Well, hold on. Sorry. It says Kinesis there, but we actually want Firehose. And so we actually need this as the configuration. So yeah, there you go. That's another reason why you don't listen to ChatGPT, because it'll just give you the wrong stuff. Maybe we were using Gemini, which is newer these days, but I'm going to go ahead and just switch this out to Firehose. The question is Firehose actually part of Kinesis? Now, I don't know. AWS SDK Firehose Ruby. I'm going to just check if it's actually different. And it is. So they actually, it is separate. So I'll go ahead and change this out. It's not Kinesis. Firehose. Okay, we'll go ahead and do that. We'll try this again. Bundle install. And we'll go ahead and hit up and record. We'll see what our issue is now. So here it says missing required delivery stream name. Okay, that's fair enough. Change that to this. Unexpected value stream name. Okay, so that's easy. We'll go ahead and hit enter. And so now it's sending that data there. Let's go over to our S3 bucket, and let's see if we have new data in here. So we've got Firehose, 2024, 03, 04, 16, refresh. So my question is, did it stream the data? Because it looks like it did. Encrypted false, record. Okay. I'm going to go back over to here, Give this a refresh. Firehose. So yeah, I'm not confident that it's working. So just to make sure that it is working, go ahead and delete this. So you just permanently delete. And we'll go back over to here, to Firehose. I'm going to go ahead and just delete out the, oh no, maybe it's gone. Okay, hold on here. All right, so yeah, we have nothing in our Firehose. So the thing is, it should just work, right? Type in clear here. I mean, it looks like it's writing. If we're not 100% sure, I'm going to just put pry in here, and then I'll put a binding pry after this. Because then we can kind of inspect the response. Bundle install. And it's because I need to require the pry up here. This is just for breakpoints. Okay, and then we'll just type in response. I mean, we get a record, so it must be working, right? Exit. Exit with an exclamation mark, and we'll just comment this out. So, I mean, that looks fine to me. We'll go back and refresh this here. But there's no objects. So there has to be something wrong, right? Like, it doesn't like our data or something. Let's go back over to here and take a look at the data options here. Data. Writes a signal, Firehose accumulates, put record when invoking the thing. Don't concatenate 2 or more base64 strings. Instead, concatenate the raw data, then perform a base64 encoding. So it might be the case that we actually have to apply base64 encoding. So what we'll do is go ahead and tell like, take a hash in Ruby and convert it to JSON and base64 it. It's not hard to do base64, but I want to save myself some time and just do a copy paste here. Base64 should be built in, so this should be really easy for us to do. There we go. Okay, so we'll go ahead and just grab this. Sometimes libraries, and again, it really depends on what you're using, but sometimes they will automatically do the conversion for you. I thought Ruby here would have done that for us, or the Ruby SDK, that they would have built it in, but it might not be. So I'm just taking a guess here, and I'm thinking that this might help with our issue. So I'm going to go back to our code example here, and I'm just going to put this above. I'm going to grab our record here. Hello world. Okay, and I think that's fine. Yep, so data. And again, just I'm going to double check, make sure that's the correct syntax. Yeah, it is. Okay, great. And so I'm going to type in clear here. I'm going to try this again. There we go. Okay, so we can't really tell if it's working or not, if it's better or not. But let's go find out and give this a refresh here. So I'm not seeing anything. So it makes me think that I should really configure CloudWatch logs so that we can see here. I'm going to just edit and enable it here so that we can instantly see it. I'm not sure if this needs like a role attached to it to be able to write to CloudWatch, or maybe it'll just automatically do that. That'd be nice if it does. I'm going to just check here, monitoring configuration, because we did the configuration for this here to have a role, right? So if we go here and edit our destination, somewhere in here there is the option to set the service role. I mean, that could be our issue as well. So let's go over to CloudFormation and take a look at our role here. Let's just see if it actually interpolated the values correctly. So if we drop this down, I mean, that looks correct to me for the bucket. So I believe that that is correct. Yeah, it looks right to me. So that looks fine. So I'm not thinking that's our issue. Let's go over to CloudWatch, see if we can actually get any logs there. I'm not sure what it would name it here. I'm going to go over to log groups. I think we'll have to run something to see anything. So I'm going to go ahead and run it again. There we go. So we did that. We'll give this a refresh here. Oh, now we see something. So maybe it was just a bit of a delay. March 4th, 11:44. That's something that just happened now. Okay, so maybe it worked fine. So I'm going to go ahead and download this. But, if there was an issue, it would then use CloudWatch logs to take a look here. Again, I'm not sure if we 100% configured that correctly, but what I'm going to do is just drag this new file in here. So this one is 11:44. We'll drop this in here. And there it is. So it is writing. Okay. And so I guess we don't need to do the base64 because if we do that, then what happens is it actually drops that in here. So we were wrong about this and it was just kind of uncertainty here. So I'm going to go ahead and just do this again. Okay. And so that will resolve that issue there. It looks like it's putting them all the same line. I'm not sure if we'd have to put a new line on there, but generally when you want to read things, you need them in a particular format. So, converting this to a pot, like transforming the data or converting it into another format might be useful. But, for this demonstration, I think this is fine. But yeah, if you did a real example, you'd have to really do something with Parquet or Orc and make sure that format is correct. But I think we solved most of what we needed to solve. So I think I'm satisfied with this. I'm going to go ahead and save all this. I do not want to keep this file around. So I can go ahead and just delete that, discard those changes. Delete that, that's fine. Go ahead and say Firehose example. It's a good idea to maybe review some of these files before we proceed forward. I don't think there's any credentials being left around here, but just in case. Looks fine to me, so we'll go ahead and save this. I'll just say Firehose example. Firehose. Firehouse is a, probably in the States as well, but it's a chain of sandwich places that are really tasty. And there's none of them around me anymore, which is kind of sad. I hope that actually saved. I'm going to double check that just because sometimes things don't push. Yeah, it is there. Okay, great. And I'm going to go ahead and just tear this down. So before we do, let's empty the bucket. That will save us some trouble here. So go ahead and just delete this here. Permanently delete. And hopefully nothing streams into the bucket while we're doing this. Otherwise, it's going to mess things up as we're working with this here. And we'll go ahead and tear down our stack. I'll be back here, and just to confirm that the stack does tear down properly, back here in just a moment. And our deletion failed. I'm not surprised. So let's go take a look here. And it's usually the S3 bucket that it has issues with. Let's go take a look here. The bucket you tried to delete is not empty because it keeps freaking adding stuff, and that's our problem here. So there's a bit of a delay of stuff here. We'll go ahead and try this again, permanent delete. And I'm going to go back over to here and delete it again. Maybe what we can do is just stop the fire hose. There's probably an option to stop it. Fire hose streams. Oh, is that gone? Did it delete? We'll just retain the bucket and we'll delete it after the fact. Yeah, I'm not sure where our fire hose went. Okay, so now what we can do is just go ahead and delete the bucket manually. Not how I wanted to do it, but that's just how we're going to have to do it here today. There we go, and I'll see you in the next one, okay? Ciao.